Welcome to another edition of Lent's Burning Bush. I am Len Harvey. Before I bring on my guest for the week, I want to talk about what's really burning my bush. So today I'm going to educate you on how annoying songs in commercials can be. Now, we refer to these as earworms, and I'm sure you've heard this before. They're the catchy piece of music that involuntarily replays in your mind over and over again on a loop. But earworm is actually just the slang for it. Psychologists actually call it musical imagery repetition, involuntary musical imagery, and the famous stuck song syndrome. I know you've had it. We've all had this. If you've ever had a song or jingle stuck in your head, that is an earworm. And advertisers seem to play on this, right? They take full advantage of this. And unfortunately, there is no cure. No cure at all. They say how to get something stuck out of your head. And to date, science has no solution for ridding oneself of an irritating earworm. You know what they suggest? There has been some success replacing one earworm for another. So the next time you hear the Proclaimers, I will walk 500 miles, you'll got to find something else to get in your ear. But I'm going to talk about advertising and how it works. And let's face it, we all buy products based on seeing it and apparently now hearing them as well. So I'm going to go over some of the jingles that you probably remember and are going to hate me after this episode. So the first one is McDonald's, and that's pretty easy. I'm loving it. Or the proverbial ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Now that's in your head. There's the Kit Kat commercial, which we love, right? Give me a break. Give me a break. Break me off a piece of that Kit Kat bar, right? That's a good one. Then, if you remember this is for the older people out there, the Oscar Mayer, right? I wish I was an Oscar Mayer wiener, right? Or the famous OSCARMAYER, right? Because we didn't know how to spell Oscar Mayer, so they put it in our head now, and we can't stop spelling it, right? That's the other one. And then the Subway commercial, $5 foot long, very annoying, right? The State Farm jingle, like a good neighbor, Mater is there. No, it's like a good neighbor, State Farm is there, right? But Mater was from the Cars movie, so there you go. Lucky Charms, they're magically delicious, or famously in Austin Powers, they're always after me, Lucky Charms. The Huggies commercial, I'm a big kid now, which reminds me of the Toys R Us kid. And unfortunately, I'm a Toys R Us kid. I got a million toys of Toys R Us that I can play with, from bikes to trains to video games. It's the biggest toy store there is, unfortunately, no longer. So we have to take a moment of silence for Toys R Us. But that jingle is still in my head, and I still want to be a Toys R Us kid. The other one is Alka-Seltzer. Plop, plop, fizz, fizz. Oh, what a relief it is. The famous, I'm a pepper, she's a pepper, he's a pepper, right? We drink Dr. Pepper, you're a pepper too. Be a pepper, drink Dr. Pepper. And the famous, I am stuck on Band-Aid because Band-Aid stuck on me. And do you remember a couple of years ago, there was the annoying Chili's baby back ribs. I want my baby back, baby back, baby back. Very annoying. And there's a new one that my wife makes me mute the television. I kid you not, mute the television on this one, right? There is a Wendy's commercial now. If you, we love Wendy's, right? We like the idea of Wendy's. We like everything about it. We like the Frosties and the chili. But this commercial now, have you heard the Major Bag Alert commercial? Major Bag Alert, Major Bag Alert, Bag Alert. Oh my God, I want to take my eye out with a pickaxe every time I hear this Major Bag Alert. Oh my God, now you've got that in your head, and it's just going to be there for a while, and I'm sorry about that, but all of a sudden, I'm hungry for a Wendy's chili. With that being said, it's time to bring on my guest for the week. She is a terrific radio talent, will not be providing you with any earworms today. You've heard her in New York radio for many years. Let's welcome the lovely, the very talented Berni Veider. Berni, I'm sorry that I put all these earworms into your head, but, I've got to do that.
Fine. Oh, my favorite is, give me that fillet fish, give me that fish.
Oh, yes. Give me that fish, that fillet of fish, yes. Oh, my goodness, that's right. That's another good one. I forgot about that one.
This time of the year.
It is so amazing how music or anything works. It's like and even songs and TV shows. I thought of this morning. I think I'll go for a walk outside now. The summer sun's calling my name. I hear you now, right? I mean, it's like we remember every of these songs. Music is one of those things. I think they should teach children anything when it relates to music, any history, or I mean, there's my kids learned the 50 states from the Nifty 50 song.
Yes.
They made a song about it. Or I learned either by song or by the proverbial acronym, right? You learned by like my very educated mother just served us 9 pickles was how I got the planets, right?
Yes.
That's how we figured it out. But
right. What about Schoolhouse Rock?
yes, I love
Conjunction
that.
Function, all
I'm
that.
just a bill on Capitol
I
Hill.
remembered stuff. I would sing it.
Do you know that I relate the I'm Just a Bill on Capitol Hill song to most of my work? I always want to know how a bill becomes a law. And what I mean by that is any job I've ever been at, I don't want to just work there. I want to understand how everything works, right? So it's like when you work for UPS, you become a driver first and then you learn the company, right? So that's kind of where it is with me. I like to learn how things work. I like to know how a bill becomes a law. And I always refer to that, Schoolhouse Rock, I'm just a bill on Capitol Hill, right?
Yeah.
It's amazing how music influences us in every way. In songs like I brought up the 500 miles, Proclaimer song. People get that song in your head, and you're like, I can't get it out. Will you please help me? It's a great song, but oh my God.
It is a great song. It is a great song. I actually just heard that song, Mr. Brightside by the Killers, has been on the charts in England for something like, 12 years or whatever since it's come out. It's still on the charts in England. It's such a huge song there, yeah. It is a good song.
It is a good song, and there's a lot of good songs, but these commercials, what are your thoughts of the major bag alert? Are we overreacting here? Or, I mean, I feel bad because DJ Khaled is part of it, and he's terrific, but this song, this is just, I hear it, and it's like nails on a chalkboard, damn it. Nails.
Yeah. Crazy. I think I don't know. We're in New York. Honestly, I haven't heard that one a ton. So maybe they haven't dropped it in New York as much as they have where you are. But,
it's every other damn commercial.
Is it really?
It's terrible.
Wow.
Yeah, it's terrible. It's like I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos too, looking at stuff, and even on the YouTube, like they break in with commercials, and it's like they play the same ones over and over again, and it's so annoying. But it's interesting. I talked about McDonald's in the beginning with ba-da-ba-ba-ba, but there were so many other good ones. There was, I'd like to teach the world. There was Coke, right? And the McDonald's ones, I remember, hold the pickles, hold the lettuce, right?
Special orders don't upset us.
Oh, I love it.
All we ask is that you let us have it your way.
Have it your way. It's funny. There was Susan and I were watching a older movie, Ordinary People was on last night.
Oh, wow, okay.
Do you remember the movie with Mary Tyler Moore and Tim Hutton? And Timothy Hutton. Well, in that, they go into McDonald's. It was 1980 the movie came out. And they have it your, it was like, it's your way. It was like a whole thing, it was like whatever. It was interesting. The song came up, but McDonald's has had a lot of them. I love the Kit Kat one, though. The Kit Kat one is one of my favorites. Break me off a piece of that Kit Kat bar.
Such a good one, and I'm a huge fan of Kit Kats too.
Well, who wouldn't be? It's like the candy. It's like in the Seinfeld episode, he talked about the Twix, right? But Kit Kat is kind of that without the nougat. It's got the the cookie crunch with the.
They're so good, and if you put them in the refrigerator for a little bit,
now you're talking dirty, Berni Veider, dirty. Full of chocolate. Oh, I love. It's funny. I am a sweet tooth. Everybody knows me. Knows I have to eat dessert first. Like I am. Wow. Well, I usually don't eat dessert first, but they always tell you to save room. I don't believe that. You save room for salad. You don't save room for dessert. You eat the dessert, right?
Yeah, I'm with you.
A piece of cheesecake. It could be anything. Flan. I am a big fan. Yeah, I'm a big fan.
I gave up sweets and sugar for Lent, and you are just not.
Oh my God,
you're driving me crazy right now.
So
one more day.
Not only am I giving you the earworm, I'm giving you. Now you're going to be thinking about sweets, and I apologize for that because, like John Stewart once famously said about Lent. 40 days of, giving up something for 40 days. In the Jewish religion, we have Yom Kippur, and we have one day, all of your sins are forgiven. Technically, he talks about it's sundown to sundown. At 2:00, you can have a sandwich, right? You fast
There
for
you
one
go.
day, right? But in the Lent, it's every 40 days. Oh my God!
40 days.
Even in sin, you're paying retail prices. I mean, that's what it comes down
That's so
to.
funny.
Yeah, I really, I give you credit for sticking it out because that is a lot of willpower. I couldn't give up anything for 40 minutes. Never mind 40 days.
It's not easy. Yeah.
No,
Definitely.
it is not easy. And you and I know each other, so we haven't talked for a while, but it is going on 20 years because, like I said, you started in radio probably when you were 10 years old.
Honestly,
Yeah.
pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much.
Fourth grade, on a fourth grade field trip, I
Yeah.
walked into the newsroom and I said, "This is what I want to do." And by high school, I already had an internship and started in college radio then.
Well, you're tremendous on the air. I've known that, but you're more of a tremendous person as well. In addition to that, because I remember
Thank
we used to
you.
work at the Fortunoff building, was the biggest dump in the history of mankind.
You would never think because we had such a fancy address on Fifth Avenue,
Yeah.
Midtown, right? And then you'd walk off the elevator, it's like, oh my gosh, where am I?
How much mold was in that building? I mean,
Oh, it was the worst. It was the worst.
and the bathroom. Just everything was so disgusting. But
there was mice. Yeah. Oof.
we had each other though. That was the best thing.
We did.
So you're on the air still,
Yes.
and where are you on now so that we can hear you?
So I am on WOR AM 710.
Oh, love it.
With Len and Michael in the morning. Len Berman, I'm sure.
Yes,
you
I know
him.
Len Berman, a sportscaster, WNBC in New
Exactly.
York.
And
WNBC.
Michael Riedel, who was the Broadway writer for The Post, and he's done a whole slew of other things, but he's the co-host. Love working with them, and I'm also with Elvis Duran in the morning show on the biggest pop radio station in the country, Z100, WHTZ. Yeah, it's great.
Z100 was, so I actually, just to give you a little bit of, so WOR, I actually filled in for a couple of weeks on WOR back in the day, in probably 1999 or whatever.
No
But
kidding.
yeah, in the morning show, I actually went to their studio and sat in the studio. Because, what's funny is when we do the traffic reports, when we did the traffic reports, or when you do them now, everybody always thinks you're right with them. Like in the studio, but we created this, and we talked about ISDN lines. Tina Lang, and I talked about this a few weeks ago. How no one knows what they think you're right there, but you're in your own little world with your and we created the whole working from home well before the working from home craze came in, right?
Pretty much, yeah. Although I have to say, I had been working at the iHeart headquarters in Tribeca, and then COVID hit, so now I'm completely working from home. I got my own little setup here, but yeah, totally. We were in closets. Remember, we were reporting from closets,
Yes.
literally on Fifth Avenue. Yeah.
Oh, I love
Those
it.
were the days.
We had Candy and Heather and Joe Nolan. I mean, and all the people still in the business today. What I love even the most about it was that all the people we work with, I've had most of them on the show. And I apologize that you had to wait 52 weeks to get on, but I did not mean that. That was not intentional. But
You're saving the best for last,
absolutely,
or not last, but
exactly. Well, we had Cooper on. We work with some of the
Cooper.
nicest and the great. What I love even more about the people we work with is the fact that after 20 years, no one. I mean, you think about it. I was in the scene from like 98 to 2000, right? 2001. I moved to Kentucky. So people haven't seen me for 20 years, and yet when I call them up and say, or send a note, will you please be on the show? Everybody's like, yes. Why is that, Bernie? Why is that?
Because you're Len and you're fantastic.
Aw.
And honestly, I so enjoyed our chats in what we would call like the ops center and everything. Everybody would just kind of hang out in the morning with our coffee, and it was 5 a.m. and we only had each other. You know? And I think that's how we all got very close.
Yeah,
and it was wonderful.
Because I told Tina this story when she was on. I was a fan of hers before I met her, because I remember listening. She was on the radio either at PLJ, maybe it was.
Yeah, she was on PLJ with
and
Rocky.
And she was on in the morning. And I remember when I met her, I was like almost like starstruck, because like you hear this voice, but she was even better in person than she was like when I met her, because she was so. I couldn't believe how nice she was. I was always waiting for something to happen, like she had some bodies buried somewhere. But no, it just amazes me how nice. And everybody, I I talked with Cooper about this too, Cooper Lawrence, who was on the show, and we talked about the fact of how one radio person will always want to help out another radio person. It just seems like we all know we slept, we've done all these stations, we've moved on from this and that. As much as I try to get out, it's like The Godfather 3. They pull me back. That's why I'm doing this now. Because
exactly.
Again, sometimes you got to make real money, and that's what I did. But I just feel like it is just so much fun. I still do play-by-play for football in Cincinnati, so I still enjoy that. Oh, elder football is still me.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
They're a big deal.
It is, and I love it. And I used to do Fairleigh Dickinson University basketball in New Jersey, and I did some other things and arena football. But it is so much fun to be on the radio, and that's one of the reasons I haven't really done the video portion. Although you and I can see each other now, but I like the radio portion where you could just hear, because it makes you imagine. It's like listening to a baseball game on the radio. There's probably nothing more relaxing or enjoyable than when you're just kind of sitting outside on the deck with a beer and you're listening to the ball game. The 3-2 pitch on the way, and it's stroked into center field, a base hit. It's just kind of it just makes you, and that's why I love the radio, and I still do. And I think the whole interesting thing about podcasts now is they're trying to make it almost like radio the way it was, because I am hearing now that there are Joe Rogan and some of the other good podcasters are actually going to be doing live. And it's funny, they're talking about doing this new podcast live, and it's like, oh, you mean radio?
Radio.
We know this already. We lived it. We did it. It is crazy. I found a sticker, I guess they call them memes now. I'm trying to get up to speed with a lot of the jargon now with social media. But I found a meme that said, name a coworker that you don't work with anymore, but you really miss working with. And I thought of you, Berni Veider, and that's why you're here today. I got the sticker. It said, name a coworker. It's a little, I saw it on somebody's Facebook page, but it reminded me, so I had to paste it and put a note in that I was going to mention that. But it's kind of,
so nice.
Well, we try, and what's interesting is I moved to the Ohio area, and you were from Ohio, living in the great city of Cleveland, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. But of course, when you lived there was none of that.
Oh no, actually, it was just coming to fruition. They were just building it. Yeah, I started off in Cleveland. I worked at WMMS, which was big rock station, still is. I was the assistant producer of the morning show back then, and then I also worked part-time at which was then Metro Traffic. I started driving the car and reporting traffic in the areas that the helicopters or the planes couldn't go.
I got a jackknife water bottle on the train.
That was me. And then I moved to D.C. I worked in D.C. for a couple of years. Really enjoyed that. And I was on WTOP doing traffic for them, and WASH FM as well. And then came to New York in '96, and I've been here ever since. Yeah, you can't. I'm not leaving, I don't think.
No, I think. Well, it's funny. I moved away and live. The cost of living is a third of what it was. And it's very difficult to go back, because I think of it going.
I believe it.
The amount of money it would cost me to move back, I could take 5 vacations a year. And I'm like, you know what I'm saying? So why I could go visit you. I could fly to visit you rather than live there and waste money.
I know.
Right? That's the way.
I know.
I still miss the food, though. That's the one thing. Too many chain restaurants here. We try to find local, but there's too many chain restaurants. I love the New York food and the New York pizza and the bagels.
Oh, goodness.
You can't get good lox, and there's a lot of things that I envy it, but there is I like to say there's a tax on everything, and that is a tax, a New York tax to get good food, because
get good bagels.
Because even the New Yorkers, they tried, right? They moved to Florida. They you know what? They got away from the tax, and what happens? The water sucks. You can't make the pizza.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, exactly.
It's just it's good, but it's not great, right? Even bad pizza is good, but
absolutely,
it's still.
I don't know if you heard, I think it was Food and Wine magazine or Bon Appetit or one of those big magazines that just came out with their, top 10 best bagels in the country. And the number one bagel spot was in LA. New Yorkers were furious. They're like, isn't April Fool's Day? Is this a joke? And my youngest daughter goes to school in LA, and she's just like, this is just insanity. Their bagels are terrible.
I know.
They get, It's just crazy.
It's like people here, they put it's the Skyline chili.
Oh yeah,
You've had it, so
love it.
I still after 20 years don't understand it. I don't
Yeah,
understand the cheese not being hot on the chili. Like
you're
that makes
right.
no sense to me.
It is weird,
Yeah,
yes. But there's a couple of places now in New York that actually sell
yeah.
Skyline Cincinnati chili. Yeah.
Wow, and it's
Hmm.
good, but I don't understand like people actually go seeking it out every week to get it. If somebody gave it to me, I'd eat it, but I'm not
Yeah.
going. It's not one of those
Oh,
things where in our household that's where we're going for dinner. That's not happening. So
I gotta say, at any time I'm in Cleveland, because there's a couple places there that sell it, I have to go get my Skyline chili. It's delicious. It's an acquired taste, though, right?
yeah, so
Yeah.
you've moved around a little bit. Obviously, we just talked about the fact that you lived in Cleveland, moved to New York, and now we're not going anywhere. Same with me. You'd have to take me out of the pine box at this moment. I'm not going anywhere. But have you ever had a storage unit?
Actually, never.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been
Uh,
fortunate to have storage space where I live.
Good.
So, yeah.
Well, people do have storage units, and including
Yeah.
Beyonce, right? She's
Oh.
got a storage unit. So this is interesting. Apparently, they need to put better locks on Beyonce's storage unit. And the reason I'm bringing this up because apparently thieves went in and went into Beyonce's storage unit in L.A. They walked away with luxury handbags, dresses. Now, Bernie, we're in the radio business. We don't make we never made a lot of money. We always were happy. But
Yes.
Beyonce lost, I kid you not, more than $1 million
What?
worth of handbags and dresses. Now, I,
From
I
a storage unit.
from
Whoa.
I mean, not for nothing, but who's putting that stuff in a storage unit?
Yeah.
I mean, really?
She must have a big basement in her LA mansion somewhere, right?
I would think she's probably got 70 rooms in a recording studio
Yeah,
somewhere. You can't put the
right.
like who puts
That's
that in a storage
crazy.
unit, right? Is that so? Yeah, apparently this is according to TMZ. The lockers were owned by Beyonce, who's the latest celebrity to have her storage units robbed. So this is not just the first one.
Wow, it's a thing.
Listen to this: a storage unit belonging to Miley Cyrus, who another
Whoa.
one has enough money that she can
Yeah.
keep it in her house. Right? They made away with clothes and photographs and other personal items. And in 2018, a storage unit belonging to Cyrus, I don't even know who that is, in the San Fernando Valley, was also hit, and thieves made off, with valuable guitars. Okay, he's a musician.
Ah,
I get
okay.
it now. But according to this, the sad part, Beyonce is going to be heartbroken. No arrests have been made in the burglary of her storage
Oh,
unit. So I feel
man.
bad. I mean, do we need to start a GoFundMe for Beyonce?
Somebody's walking around with some fabulous dresses. That's all I know.
Look at this
No, she
studio.
does not need a GoFundMe. Between her and Jay-Z, no, no,
They've
no.
got more money than they know what to do with, right? They actually they print the money themselves, don't they? It's kind of how much money does Jay-Z have right now? I mean,
Oh my gosh, I have no idea. I heard that he actually just started a program here at Long Island University in Brooklyn for musicians, and he's giving full scholarships and everything. So he's doing good. So helping out,
oh yeah.
paying it forward.
Well,
Paying it
I'd like to have his walking around money. Never mind,
forward.
right? That's all I need. The walking around money. Never mind the billions or whatever. The walking around money would be enough for
Yeah.
probably most of us. So, what are your thoughts? Are you a game show watcher like me? Do you like Jeopardy? You watch Jeopardy?
I do. I mean, I grew up that Wheel of Fortune and Jeopardy was almost always on. We had a tiny little TV in the kitchen on the counter in the corner, and my dad always loved to have the TV on. So yeah, it just reminds me of a weeknight evening, right?
Absolutely. And I've been watching. We record it. We actually watch them, and I enjoy it. And of course, we miss Alex Trebek like everybody else does.
Yeah.
It's not the same without him. Although we had some interesting guest hosts: Ken Jennings, Katie Couric, Dr. Oz. There's going to be even more in a person to look at. Aaron Rodgers is going to host
The
or guest
football
host the football player.
Really?
Yeah, apparently he won or was on Celebrity Jeopardy back in the day, and in 2015 he beat astronaut and former and current U.S. Senator Mark Kelly and Shark Tank entrepreneur Kevin Leary, who we know,
Wow.
when he was on the show. But beginning Monday this week, it's going to be Aaron Rodgers filling in. Now we just saw. I actually thought Katie Couric was very good. I was pleasantly surprised about.
She
her.
was good. They've
Yeah.
all been pretty good, I have to say. Ken Jennings obviously is a natural, it
yeah.
seems. He's good.
He's good. I don't. I'm thinking to myself. I would have picked Ken from the beginning, but now I don't know. Like
Oh,
now
okay.
they're kind of. I'd be happy with Ken. I'd be good with Ken. Is there anybody that you think would be better at getting the hosting job, except for
Oh
Berni
my.
Veider? Maybe Bernie. Maybe we can get you in to do a guest hosting appearance. That would be
What
great.
about you, Len?
Oh, I'd love it. That game shows was always my thing. I always wanted to be a game show. I used to sit home. See, back in the day, we didn't have these talk shows that were on during the day. The only talk show was the Michael Douglas show, was on in the afternoon around 4 o'clock. That was the
Right.
only one. But everything else was always, if you stayed home from school, it was game shows. There was
Soap operas.
Joker's Wild was on.
Oh, right.
There was Tic Tac Toe. There was, you watched all these shows, Bullseye.
$10,000 period.
Yeah, exactly. And then it became 100,000, right? So 10,000,
Yeah.
yeah, well, inflation.
We're showing our age.
Yeah, we're showing our age, but I enjoyed the game shows, and I always enjoyed the game show hosts, like Jim Lang, who did the dating game and did Jeopardy, did Bullseye. He also, so Jim Lang was a big one, and then there was Alex did
Wink.
a lot
Yeah.
of stuff.
Wink Martindale.
Yes, he did Tic Tac Toe. And I like Jack Barry. What's interesting about Jack Barry is he came back to do the Joker's Wild after he was part of that scandal, the quiz show scandal. He was the original host of that. So he came back after that. Of course, all these people probably long gone. I don't know about Jim Lang or Wink Martindale. They might still be around. I know there's a Wink Martindale in the NFL coach, but
Yes.
I don't know if he's any relation, but
No, I don't think so. I guess his real name is like Joe or something like that, and they just started calling him Wink after the game show host, and it just stuck.
yeah. Well, I just loved it. I always wanted to be a game show host. I watched them, and Dick Clark was always great. I'm Dick Clark, and he would do the $20,000 pyramid. And do you know? I'll do a little trivia for you that everybody thinks Pat Sajak was the original host of Wheel of Fortune, but that is not true. Do you know who was?
I have no idea.
Well, I will tell you that there was a love connection. It was Chuck Woolery.
Really?
Yes, Chuck Woolery was the original host. And not only was that, but Vanna White was not part of that either. It was Susan Stafford.
Susan Stafford.
This is stuff I know in my head. I don't know why I know it, but this is why I watch too much TV. There was a show on HBO called Dream On, and it was years and years ago, and it was Martin Tupper was the character. Brian Benben played him. And in the beginning of the show, they would always have him sitting as a kid in front of the TV. That was me. It was just that was it. But yeah, so Susan Stafford. So people don't know that it's been like 40 years that it seems like that Pat and Vanna have been on the Wheel of Fortune.
kidding.
Now, of course, watching it as a kid, you remember they used to have the prizes in the studio, right?
Yes.
And you used to go for the rest of it. I'll put it on a Gucci gift certificate. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
And for $20,000, I'd like the yellow comb. Right?
Yeah.
It was always like a huge amount for the most ridiculous things, and they had a horse in the background. But they stopped doing that probably only in the last 15 years, and he just gave money because you'd always have to go look at remember the movie Rain Man? Look at the studio filled with prizes. Remember?
Yes, glamorous prizes. Yeah. Aw.
See, look at this. You're learning so much stuff on this show, don't you? I mean, it's amazing, right? All the stuff.
Things I completely forgot about. I miss seeing that big red shiny car in the studio.
Yes, look at the cars, right? I used to enjoy. They started to bring this back. Card Sharks. I enjoyed that.
Yes.
That was Jim. I can't think of his name, but he was a host also. And we'll think of it in a minute. But anyway, he was the host of Card Sharks, and they bringing it back. They've got another some of the Game Show Network or whatever it's on. But it's interesting how they're trying to bring back a lot of these game shows and doing it. Name That Tune is back. I love. I don't know. Did you? I just think it's wonderful now the way they've got it set up. And I think it's fantastic. So I'm a big proponent of listening to the music and trying to get the songs. I always wanted it. I didn't understand why they didn't have Name That Tune. I really can't stand the Masked Singer and the other. I'm not a big fan of any of that.
Yeah.
Do you like it, the Masked Dancer?
No. I mean, I used to watch The Voice and those shows, but honestly, not as much anymore. But in terms of Name That Tune, I was always so good. I could name it like one or two chords. I was like in it. I've always really liked music, so that show definitely hit the spot with me.
All right. Well, here's another bit of trivia for you.
Okay.
Okay, so this made me think of it because Name That Tune. Now, Name That Tune in the 70s was hosted by Tom Kennedy. He was another big host of a lot of game shows. Tom Kennedy was a big one. But he had somebody who sang the songs. And do you know who that was?
I do not.
Yeah,
I
you did
know,
not
right?
know. All right, I'll give you a hint. How are you, Reg? There's a little bit of hint. Kathy Lee
Was it Kathy
Gifford.
Lee Gifford?
Yes, she was.
Oh my goodness.
So it's interesting. She was known as Kathy Lee at the time, but there was also another Kathy Lee Crosby, who was.
Oh, I remember her.
And she was in she was in that movie. She would have been arrested today. She was out with a student. Do you remember that movie in the 70s? It was terrible. Terrible. After school special, by the way. I remember those after school specials. But anyway, she changed. So Kathy Lee added the Crosby. And then the other Kathy Lee, and then when she got married, she became Kathy Lee Gifford. But she was the original singer, or at least on Name That Tune. So she was the one who, when they did the song, they actually, so that is, so I've given you all this knowledge today. We know that Chuck Woolery was the host of Wheel of Fortune before Pat. Susan Stafford was the Vanna White before. I don't know what they're doing today. I know Chuck Woolery's probably doing those reverse mortgage commercials because that seems to be what happens to all these people now, right? Tim Tyrell and I talked about I
cringe when I see that. I'm like, no, don't be doing that.
Yeah, why is Tom Selleck doing reverse mortgage commercials? He's got blue bloods. What does he need to do?
He doesn't need it.
No.
He's Tom Selleck.
Exactly.
Actually, I have a little bit of a trivia for you. Anyway, a little tidbit. My husband was one of the very first writers for Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
Oh,
he used to write the questions.
Is that your final answer? That's wonderful. I love it.
Exactly.
I miss Regis too. He's another one. May he rest in peace. Regis.
Yes,
he was the best.
He was a joy to work with, is what my husband said. He was always a good guy.
I don't think he liked Kelly Ripa though. Did you? I mean, did you get that sense? I think he didn't like her. I think he warmed up to Kathy Lee, but I don't think he ever had that warming up with Ripa.
I think you're probably right. There definitely seemed to be some tension on the set.
A little bit of tension going on. And that's why he eventually just said, the heck with it. But Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? One of my favorites. And who knew that Michael was writing these stuff? He was. As Johnny Carson used to say, I did not know that. So there you go. I did not know that. This is awesome. And since we're getting back into the older stuff. Well, this is a little bit older, but back in the 90s, there was a famous TV show, a little bit of TV show called Friends, if you remember, right?
Yes.
Everybody remembers Friends. Well, get excited because apparently there's going to be a reunion and HBO Max will have it. According to David Schwimmer on TMZ, he said that after months of delays, HBO Max and Friends reunion special is on the horizon. And David Schwimmer talked about it on the Graham Norton show, there's always good clips on the Graham Norton show. Have you ever looked at it? There's so many good people that have been on that show.
When is that show on even though?
It's in the UK. And I think you can, watch it on YouTube or something is how I watch it. But I think it's on the BBC, but I'm not 100% sure that we do have listeners in the UK. So hopefully they can help us. But Graham Norton he was on the show Friday and revealed that he's days away from filming the show. And after this interview, he was going to LA where they were going to be shooting the Friends reunion. So we will have the Friends, and that could be another song that you could sing, Bernie, the new Friends theme, the Friends theme.
I waited on them. I waited on the band. Oh my gosh, I can't remember their name.
Proclaimers? No, it's not the Proclaimers.
Oh, son of a gun.
Oh, I know.
The band that sang the song, I'll Be There For You. Yeah. At the height of their fame, they came into the restaurant that I was working in, and I waited on them. They were the loveliest guys. They left me a really great tip, and it was that was a lot of fun.
And you can't remember.
Oh my gosh!
I know
the song, of course. I'll be
there for you when the rain starts. The Rembrandts.
Yes.
And I did look it up. So sorry, I couldn't let you hang out there, Bernie. It was all out there, but give me a little bit more of the "I'll be there for you." So
no, I'm not
all right,
anymore.
There you go. I love it. I love it that you even want to sing. But we could do this all day talking about nostalgia stuff because I enjoy this. And hopefully we forgot about the reason we started this show about the earworm. So maybe
Oh, right.
maybe that was part of
no, because now everybody's going to be singing "I'll Be There for You."
oh, right. We gave see that's how we got rid of the bag alert. We went right into the Rembrandts with "I'll Be There for You" and a new Friends theme. So we'll have it all. Now, Bernie, now you can like Len's Burning Bush on Facebook at Len's Burning Bush. So make sure people do that. You can follow at Len's Burning Bush on Twitter because my Twitter feed is just the best. Well, not really, but all right. I have a YouTube channel now where I upload the audio only, obviously, because that's all I do. But those go on YouTube as well.
Oh, cool.
So if you search Len Harvey, YouTube, Len's Burning Bush, you'll start to see those come up, and there's a bunch of episodes that are on YouTube as well, so you can follow that. You can listen anyway. I think there's a lot of ways I don't know about in podcasting world, but I know we're on iTunes, we're on Google Play, we're on Spotify, Podbean, iHeartRadio, TuneIn.
iHeartRadio, shout out to iHeartRadio.
Yeah, they're great. They accepted me. I love it that they allow me to do this, and you can even ask Alexa to play Len's Burning Bush podcast. Make sure you say podcast because I don't know what comes up when you say Len's because there is there must be another Len's that is more of a religious program. So I don't. I obviously I'm not in the religious stuff, but we've got about 33 states that download on a regular basis. District of Columbia. We got the UK as I mentioned. So always cheers to my people out in the UK, Ireland, Germany, Switzerland, Norway. We've even had Australia, Canada. Don't know why. Like we're trying to figure out, Bernie, why they would even want to just listen to this nonsense. But I'm happy that they are. I would do this if it was just me doing it. But I love that I get to catch up with great people like you. And let's not spend 20 years apart again.
No, absolutely not. This has been my pleasure. I've had such a good time, and so great to see you and talk with you.
Oh, it is exactly. It's wonderful to see you as well. We'll have this episode up. You can download it and listen to it, and make sure you listen to all 52 now. 52 episodes of Len's Burning Bush. I have no idea. I didn't think I'd have enough material for 5 episodes. Never mind 52.
Crazy, and we didn't even talk about cats.
No, and we didn't talk about bowling and cats. We're gonna have to see. That's why there'll be a second time you'll be on, and we'll get you on. I'm gonna start duplicating. I had the first duplicate guest was my 50th, a good friend of mine. We did the duplicate guest, but I'm gonna start bringing some people back. Now we do have coming up. So next week I've got a PR person from Cincinnati. Will be on. JT Stewart will be on next week. And then I've got coming up after that, we've got some musicians are coming on. Well, first I'm going to have Maverick, who is from Cincinnati Radio. He'll be on the 17th. The 24th, I'm going to have Joe Mancuso, who's a great singer. He'll be on. And then I've got the legendary Cincinnati Boogie Woogie blues guy. His name is Ricky Nye, and he is the best piano player I think I've ever seen. He is so good. He will be on May 1st. So I like to bring it, just kind of do the old interview show and, have fun with it because I think this is what it is, right?
I love it that it's a wide range of people.
Yeah,
and topics.
Exactly. They call it plethora. Is that the word that we could use?
A
plethora of useless knowledge and useless information. But let's get the earworm out of here and let's say thank you, Berni Veider. I'm Len Harvey. We'll be back with another episode of Len's Burning Bush next week. So long.